Hello and welcome back, readers. Because of Winn-Dixie, we're going to do chapter 20 and hopefully 21 today. Okay, so just sit and listen, relax, and then when you're done, just go ahead and read your own book. Chapter 20. When I told Gloria Dump about Otis and how he got arrested, she laughed so hard that she grabbed hold of her false teeth so they wouldn't fall out of her mouth. "Woo-wee," she said when she was finally done laughing. "That sure is some dangerous criminal." "He's a lonely man," I told her. "He just wants to play music for someone." Gloria wiped her eyes with the hem of her dress. "I know it, sugar," she said. "Sometimes things are so sad that they get to be funny." "You know what else?" I said, still thinking about sad things. "That girl I told you about, the pinched up face one, Amanda, well, her brother drowned last year. He was only 5 years old. Same age as Sweetie Pie. Thomas." Gloria stopped smiling. She nodded her head. "Oh, I remember hearing about that," she said. "I remember hearing about a little boy drowning." "That's why Amanda's probably so pinched-faced all the time." "She probably misses her brother." "Most likely," Gloria agreed. "Do you think everybody misses somebody, like I miss my mama?" "Mm-hmm," said Gloria. She closed her eyes. "I believe sometimes that the whole world has an aching heart. I couldn't stand to think about the sad things that couldn't be helped anymore. So I said, 'Do you want to hear some more of Gone to the Wind?'" "Yes, indeed," Gloria said. "I've been looking forward to it all day. Let's see what Miss Scarlet is up to now." I opened up Gone with the Wind and started to read. But the whole time I was thinking about Otis, worrying about him not being able to play his guitar for people. In the book, Scarlet was looking forward to a big barbecue where there was going to be music and food. That is how I got the idea. "That is what we need to do," I said. I slammed the book shut. Winn-Dixie's head shot up from underneath Gloria's chair. He looked all around nervous-like. "Huh?" Gloria Dump said. "Have a party," I told her. "We need to have a party and invite Miss Franny Black and the preacher and Otis can play his guitar for everyone. Sweetie Pie can come too. She listens to good music." "We who?" Gloria asked. "We, me and you? We can make some food for the party right here in your yard." Said Gloria Dump. "We could make peanut butter sandwiches and cut them into triangles and make them look fancy." "Lord," said Gloria Dump, "I don't know if the whole world likes peanut butter as much as me, you, and the dog." "Okay, then. I could make egg salad sandwiches. Adults like those." "You know how to make egg salad?" "No, ma'am," I said. "I don't have a mom around to teach me things like that. But I bet you could teach me. Please?" "Maybe," said Gloria Dump. She put her hand on Winn-Dixie's head. She smiled at me. I knew she was telling me yes. "Thank you," I said. I went over and hugged her. I squeezed her real hard. Winn-Dixie wagged his tail and tried to get in between the two of us. He couldn't stand to be left out of anything. It was going to be the best party ever, I told Gloria. "You gotta make me one more promise, though," Gloria said. "All right," I told her. "You need to invite those Dewberry boys." "Dunlap and Stevie?" "Mm-hmm. And it ain't gonna be a party unless you invite them." "I have to?" "Yes," said Gloria Dump. "You promise me." "I promise," I said. I didn't like the idea, but I promised. I started inviting people right away. I asked the preacher first. "Daddy," I said. "Opal," the preacher said back. "Daddy, me and Winn-Dixie and Gloria Dump are having a party." "Well," said the preacher, "that's nice. You have a good time." "Daddy," I said, "I'm telling you because you're invited." "Oh," said the preacher. He rubbed his nose. "I see." "Can you come?" I asked. He sighed. "I don't see why not," he said. Franny Black took to the idea right away. "A party?" she said. She clapped her hands together. "Yes, ma'am," I told her. "It would be kind of a barbecue, like 12 Oaks and Gone to the Wind. Only it's not going to have as many people, and we're going to serve egg salad sandwiches instead of barbecue." "That sounds lovely," said Miss Franny, and she pointed at the back of the library and whispered, "Maybe you should ask Amanda too." "She probably won't want to come," I said. She doesn't like me very much. Ask her and see what she says, Miss Franny whispered. So I went back to the back of the library and I asked Amanda Wilkinson, in my best mannered voice, to please come to my party. She looked all nervous and stuff. A party, she said. Yes, I said. I sure would like it if you could come. She stared at me with her mouth open. Okay, she said after a minute. I mean, yes, thank you. I would love to. And just like I promised Gloria, I asked the Dewberry boys. I ain't going to no party at any witch's house, Stevie said. Dunlap knocked Stevie with his elbow. We'll come, he said. We will not, said Stevie. That witch might cook us up in a witch's pot. I don't care if you come or not, I told them. I'm just asking you because I promised that I would. We'll be there, said Dunlap. He nodded his head and smiled at me. Sweetie Pie was very excited I invited her. What's the theme, she asked. Well, there isn't one, I said. Well, you've got to think of a theme, she told me. She stuck her knuckle in her mouth and then pulled it back out. It ain't a party without a theme. Is the dog coming? She asked. She wrapped her arms around Winn-Dixie and squeezed him so hard that his eyes almost popped out of his head. Yes, I told her. Good, she said. You can make the theme. You could make that the theme, a dog party. Think about it. I'll think about it, I told her. The last person I asked was Otis. I told him all about the party and that he was invited. He said, no, thank you. Why not, I said. I don't like parties, said Otis. Please, I begged him. It won't be a party unless you come. I'll give you the whole week a whole free week of sweeping and arranging and dusting if you come to the party. That's what I'll do. A whole week for free, Otis said, looking up at me. Yes, sir, I told him. But I don't have to talk to people, right? No, sir, I said, you don't. But bring your guitar. Maybe you could play some music. Maybe, said Otis. He looked down at his boots real quick, tried to hide a smile. Thank you, I told him. Thank you for deciding to come. Okay, all right, I'll try and read one more. After I got Otis to convince to come, the rest of me was getting ready for the party. It was fun and easy. Me and Gloria decided to have the party at night, when it would be cooler. In the afternoon before, we worked in Gloria's kitchen and made egg salad sandwiches. We cut them up into triangles and we cut the crusts off when we put little toothpicks with frilly tops on them. Winn-Dixie sat in the kitchen and looked at us the whole time. He kept on wagging his tail. That dog thinks we're making these sandwiches for him, said Gloria Dump. Winn-Dixie showed Gloria all of his teeth. These ain't for you, she told him. But she thought I wasn't looking, and I gave Winn-Dixie an egg salad sandwich, one without a toothpick. We also made punch. We mixed together orange juice and grapefruit juice and soda in a big bowl. Gloria Dump called it Dump Punch. She said it was a world famous, but I had never heard of it before. The last thing we did was decorate the yard. I strung pink and orange and yellow crepe papers to the trees to make it look fancy. We also filled up paper bags with sand and put candles in them. And right before the party was about to start, I went to light the candles. I turned Gloria Dump's yard into a fairyland. Gloria said, looking around. Even somebody with bad eyes can tell that it looks good. It did look pretty good. It looked so pretty that my heart was feeling funny, all swollen and full, and I desperately wished that I knew where my mama was so that she could come to the party too. Miss Franny Black was the first person to arrive. She was wearing a pretty green dress that was all shiny and shimmery, and she had on high-heel shoes. Made her wobble back and forth when she walked. Even when she was standing still, she kind of swayed a little bit like she was standing on a boat. She was carrying a big glass bowl full of litmus lozenges. I brought a little after-dinner treat, she said, handing the bowl to me. Thank you, I said, and I put the bowl on the table next to the egg salad sandwiches and the punch. Then I introduced Miss Franny to Gloria, and they shook hands and said polite things to each other. Then Sweetie Pie's mother came by with Sweetie Pie. Sweetie had a whole handful of pictures of hot dogs that she cut out of magazines. This is to help your theme, she said. You can use them to decorate. I brung tape too, she said. She started going around and hanging pictures of dogs to the tree. She ain't talked about nothing but this party all day long, said her mother. Can you walk her home when it's over? I promised that I would, and I introduced Sweetie Pie to Miss Franny and to Gloria. And right after that, the preacher showed up. He was wearing a coat and tie, and he looked real serious. He shook Gloria Dump's hand and Miss Franny Black's hand, and said how pleased he was to meet them both, and how he had not heard nothing but great things about them both. He patted Sweetie Pie on the head, and said it was good to see her outside of church. And the whole time, Winn-Dixie was standing right in the middle of everyone, wagging his tail so hard that he thought for sure he would knock Miss Franny right out of her high heels. Amanda Wilkinson came. She came with her blonde hair all curled up. She looked very shy and not mean as usual. I stood real close to her and introduced her to Gloria Dump. And I was surprised at how glad I was to see Amanda, and how I wanted to tell her that I knew about Carson. I wanted to tell her that I understood what it was like to lose people, but I didn't say anything. I was just extra nice. We were all standing around smiling at one another and acting kind of nervous, when a real screechy voice said, "Gertrude, pretty bird!" Winn-Dixie's ear went straight up on his head, and he barked once and looked around. I looked too, but I didn't see Gertrude or Otis. "I'll be right back," I said to everyone. Me and Winn-Dixie went running to the front of the house. And sure enough, standing there on the sidewalk was Otis. He had his guitar on his back and Gertrude on his shoulder. In his hands he was holding the biggest jar of pickles I had ever seen in my life. "Otis," I said to him, "come around back. That's where the party is." "Oh," he said, but he didn't move. He stood there holding the jar of pickles. "Dog!" screeched Gertrude. Then she flew off Otis's shoulder and landed on Winn-Dixie's head. "It's all right, Otis," I said. "It's just a few people, hardly any people at all." "Oh," said Otis. He looked around like he was lost. He held up the jar of pickles and said, "I brought pickles." "I saw them," I said. "It's exactly what we need. They will go perfect with our egg salad sandwiches." I talked to him real soft and gentle and low, like he was a wild animal that I was trying to get to take food out of my hand. He took one tiny step forward. "Come on," I whispered. I started walking, and Winn-Dixie followed me. And then I turned around, and I saw that Otis was following me too. Good. And that's the end of that chapter. Okay, so I wonder how the party's going to go. We'll find out next time. See you later.